Before we dive into today's video, I saw something the other day that made me stop and think this is what so many home sellers are facing right now. And if you're a homeowner, what you're about to hear might sound a little too familiar.
Is anyone else trying to sell a house in this market? Because what the hell? If I have one more potential buyer say that they love my house and they want to buy it, they place an offer, and then they can't get approval. First of all, why are we even looking at houses before you have a pre-approval? Why are we doing that? Should you not be going into purchasing a home having the pre-approval, knowing what you can afford, knowing what the bank is going to give you? I just don't get it. And this house, oh my gosh, my house needs to sell. We're moving to Japan in like 2 months.
Out from moving from Charlotte, North Carolina to Charleston, South Carolina. And I am officially freaking out. I'm smiling, but I'm freaking out because we are selling our house in Charlotte and it has not sold. So it's now looking inevitably like we are going to be paying a mortgage on top of a rent payment. Before you come for me in the comments, I have to move because my job is now on site after we don't have a choice. We have to be there by a certain date. And, you know, I thought that this house would definitely sell, but if nothing else, I thought we would have like a little bit more traction and showing. But we've had 5 in 30 days, which is not good. The thought of paying a mortgage while we're also paying rent is mind-blowing to me because that money could be spent on living someplace way cooler, than Charleston. Live in a really nice place in New York, in LA, in Chicago. There's just so many options that would be my first choice over just having a house sit empty in Charlotte while living in Charleston. I think just for my own mental health, rather than continuing to post about my selling journey of this house, I'm going to start posting about moving and trying to get excited about that.
We currently had a showing, our first showing, and it was a flop. So first off, they showed up like 35 minutes late, which they did have a full hour slot that they booked, but I thought that was a little inconsiderate. And then when they walked in, they literally walked into our house for like 3 minutes, maybe 5 tops, and then they were done. So first showing wasn't the best, but hopefully we'll get more. So that's why I haven't been posting much right now, because we're just on a standstill, and hopefully I'll be able to post better content here soon.
Now my thing is, we've been on the market 3 months, I think, and I understand the market is wonky. Okay. I need to know, other than the boxes sitting in this house, because we are trying to have everything packed up that we can have packed up and moved, or easy for packing up and moving, in case my wife gets a job where we're trying to go. I'm not dealing with the entire house by myself. But I need to know what is wrong with my house. What do I need to do to help make it more appealing to somebody?
I think half the sellers who just watch this are nodding their head yep, and the other half are texting their agent. This is what's happening to me. Normally, videos like this are all about the buyers, what they want, what they're afraid of, and how to get them off the fence. But today we're going to talk about the sellers and why their homes aren't selling like they used to, why deals keep falling apart, and what's going on nationally and here in Miami, and what you can actually do if you're serious about selling your home. And trust me, there's a lot more going on than you might think. Let's start with the big emotion right now. Frustration. If you're a seller, tell me if any of these sound familiar. We've had 5 showings in 30 days. That's it. Or we're moving in 2 months. Just buy my house. I don't care about the roof. And my favorite, buyers these days are just window shopping. They walk through, look around for 5 minutes, and then leave. But here's what's changed though. Buyers are no longer desperate. They have choices. Inventory is up almost 30% year after year. And that means competition. If your house is overpriced, needs work, or just doesn't stand out, the buyers will move on. In Miami, sellers are dealing with even more frustration. Instead of adjusting prices, many homeowners are just yanking their homes off the market and just waiting it out. In June, for every 100 homes listed in Miami, 59 were delisted. That's almost triple the national average. But here's the thing, sometimes waiting works, sometimes it doesn't. But if you need to move for a job, family, or your finances, the waiting game is risky. Next, I am going to show you exactly why 57,000 home sales fell in just 1 month. Now let's talk about the data, because the numbers tell a story most sellers don't want to hear. In June, 57,000 home sales agreement fell apart. That's 50% of all homes under contract. That's a record for June. The top reasons: high mortgage rates still floating around 6.8%. Record prices. Median home price as of June was around $435,000. And then there is economic uncertainty. Inflation, tariffs, and talks of possible recession are making buyers cautious. In Miami specifically, median list price dropped 4.7% from last year. Homes sat an average of 88 days on the market, the longest in the country's top 50 cities. Less than 18% of homes had a price cut. Some sellers are very stubborn. And it's not just Miami. Across the US, deal listings are up 48% from last year. Sellers are frustrated, and instead of negotiating, they're just pulling their listings. After this, I'm gonna tell you why even perfectly looking homes are just still sitting on the market. And it's not the reason most sellers think. This is where it gets tricky. It's not about numbers, it's about mindset. Now, I've noticed that many sellers are still holding on to pandemic era prices. They remember when buyers waived inspections, wrote letters, and bid tens of thousands over asking. But today's buyers, they're picky. They're back to full inspection, repair requests, and they're walking away if the deal doesn't feel right. And here's the reality. If you start too high, you'll end up chasing the market down. A price cut later doesn't necessarily erase the first impression of being overpriced. And the longer your home sits on the market, the less power you have in negotiations. In Miami, many sellers can afford to wait, which is why we're seeing more deal listings than discounts. But in other markets, people are making some tough calls, selling sometimes for less than what they want just so they can move on. Now, I am going to give you 5 things you can do right now to sell faster, even in this market. If you're serious about selling, here is your 5-step game plan. Price for today, not for the past. Get a market analysis from an agent who will tell you the truth. Beat your competition in presentation. Declutter, stage, fix obvious repairs. First impressions are everything. Market beyond the MLS. Make sure your photos are great. You can do a video tour of your home, and you can also post on each social media platform. Be flexible on terms. Consider helping with closing costs, offering a home warranty, or just throwing in some upgrades. Pivot fast if you're not getting any offers. If you're not seeing any traction in 2 to 3 weeks, adjust your price, your photos, and your marketing. Something needs to change. Now, I'm going to tell you the exact sellers who are winning right now, and no, it's not the ones you think. The sellers who are winning right now in 2025 aren't necessarily the ones with the biggest, flashiest homes. They're the ones who price correctly from the start. The ones who are willing to negotiate. The ones who make their home move-in ready. And adapt their strategies instead of waiting for the market to change for them. Because here's the thing, this isn't a doom and gloom market, contrary to what other people might say. It's just a different market, and different market rewards different strategies. Sellers are panicking because the rules have changed, but panic is not a strategy. If you adapt, price smart, and market right, you can still sell without feeling like you gave your home away. If you're in Miami, remember, buyers have choices and patience. If you're elsewhere, learn your local market, not just the national headlines. Before you go, don't forget you can grab my free home sellers guide in the description below. It's packed with simple tips to help you avoid costly mistakes when selling. And if you're right here in the Miami area and you're thinking about selling, I would love to connect with you directly. There's a quick connect form in the description below. Go ahead and fill it out, and let's talk about how to get your home sold in this market. I'll leave you with a reminder from James 1 verse 5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all without fault, and it will be given to you. So whatever decisions you're facing, pricing, timing, or selling altogether, don't let panic lead the way. Ask God for wisdom and trust that he will guide you. Thank you for watching. Be blessed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.